Guy Clender, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. This is great, and I love that we're letting the fans tell you and I what to do. I enjoy the puppet.
Yeah, the puppeteering. It's
yeah,
nice,
the puppeteering
right?
is good. It's good.
So how this is going to work for everyone is we ask right up front, because we are live on multiple channels: YouTube, Facebook, the Let Your Geek Set Show Facebook group, on Twitch and Periscope. If you would like to make requests to our incredible moderator Missy, please do those over on the YouTube chats, because these comments are moving so fast, and that's usually got one of the better the better streams that we can see it all in one place. So if you would like to make a request as to what you specifically would like to see in this booth before it gets broken down, because this is your last chance to see this before tomorrow, when it's an all new booth. Tomorrow is an all new booth with all new items. Now, if you guys have any requests, please let Missy at the Sideshow Con HQ desk know, and she will relay them to us. She'll just yell at us. She's gonna get really good at yelling at us, which is gonna be hard for her because she's so nice.
A little over the shoulder.
A little over the shoulder. Well, without further ado, I think we should get started with the #1 fan request. That's me. I request that we take a look at the brand new Venom PF here. Now, this is a prototype, pending licensor approval, of course. Sam, am I good over? I'll move over right here. Now, this is insane. I think this is, you guys maybe have seen it a little bit in, the background of some of our other shows, where, you guys just saw Guy down here during Unsealed and Revealed with the incredible Terry Smith. We have got here the brand new Venom PF. Now, we starting at the base here. It's like oozing. It looks like he's in the sewer there. Now, this is actually because it appears that he is in like Oscorp. He's underneath Oscorp.
Yeah, he's underneath Oscorp.
So that is the Green Goblin glider that you're all seeing here. And then Sam will come around in a second. There's a really, really fun surprise here. He's got Peter Parker's mask right here. This Venom statue is incredible. Again, by the incredible, I believe it's the Martin Canal worked on this piece. Now, I don't want to, give too many spoilers here, but we will be interviewing him later this week. And so this may not be the last chance you get to see Venom. He may want to talk about this. He's definitely going to want to talk about this. It's an incredible piece, man.
It's like huge. What I like is some of the paint schemes we're seeing on that. You talked about that kind of the green ooze. Yeah. And that this isn't done as a lighting effect. This is when you're seeing that hitting the underside of that sail and onto the concrete. That's actually the way in which it's been painted. It's fantastic. So you've got that, and there's so much movement in it, from the bent rebar to the movement of the tendrils flying to, as you said, the mask, which I think is great. That it's a little whipping in the wind.
Even like all the texturing on the concrete looks so good.
Exactly.
Wow.
It does have that broken, cracked concrete, and then that portrait, the teeth on there really popped to me.
And then I know, again, because this is a prototype, everyone, the only information that we really have is that it's awesome.
Yeah, that it's fantastic.
So that's one of them. It's incredible. I'm about 5'11", almost 6 feet. I'm real close. So that's, about how big this statue is. That's all I can give you so far. But all right, Missy, what do people want to see?
If you could go right next door to Carnage, I think that would be greatly appreciated.
Yes. And you told me in a great little tidbit down here, we have the plaque, Cell 361.
Yes.
And the reason being, Paul,
it's the first appearance of Cletus Cassidy as Carnage. So Cletus Cassidy did appear, I believe, in Amazing Spider-Man 360, but as Carnage proper, it was 361. And if you notice, in a majority of the comics that Cletus Cassidy appears in, his cell's almost always 361. But look how incredible this is.
The musculature on this, which is in that red, has a little bit more of that musculature anatomy that we're kind of used to seeing. Right there, down the leg, and how it turns is amazing. And you get that in kind of that matte color, and then the gloss underneath.
And honestly, one of the things I love about not only this Carnage PF, but the Venom PF that we just looked at a second ago, is the inclusion of that like blue hint.
Yes.
Because so often I think we associate Venom and the living symbiote with just with straight like deep space black.
Yeah,
it is black. Not. It almost always, like if you'll go back to the first time we saw it in Secret Wars, the original Secret Wars #3, it's got like that blue tone. Yeah. Which, actually, Sam, if we could pan over for a second to the symbiote Spider-Man that we have here, this is one of the first appearances that we have of this whole suit. That is definitely, sort of what we were getting along with the lines of that. It does have that blue, purple
the
to
hints
it.
of that, yeah. The hints
Oh,
of
there we
the
go.
blue
Thank you
and
so much for that.
The hints of blue and purple that appear in there.
Absolutely incredible. Look at the base, too. Wow. These are
There's
so sad.
so much going on in here. What amazed me is if we zoom up on the top of the mask, take a look at that vein structure underneath. It's very subtle, but you have all that. I mean, this is the most ripped we've ever seen this character. I mean, he's always been a muscular character, but in this one here, there's even more going on. I love the pose. I love the.
And I've always loved the wraparound logo on the back of the Venom suit.
Yeah, that 360 of the logo is spectacular. And again, there's that vein pattern I was talking about, and it's kind of throughout, and it's subtle, but it definitely shows up.
Oh, it's so nice. All right, sorry, I've been spending this whole time, guy, just looking at things that we want to look at. Missy, what do people want to see?
Those lovely turtles behind you.
Oh,
yes, that is
lovely,
a huge
lovely
request right now. The Last Ronin.
The Last Ronin statue by the incredible folks over at PCS. Now, this is, of course, based off the more recent Kevin Eastwood comic that came out. Again, one of the first times in a while that, I go to a comic book store every Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
That, I'm usually there right at noon, that there was a line for, because, the team that worked on the original Turtles hadn't really done anything in quite a while. So, I think it was Alex Ronowitz yesterday, right before that Sideshow show, told us such a sad but interesting fact about this in-world comic itself. Like, this is Michelangelo. No, this is Mikey. Yeah, so it's Mikey, who's normally the jokester of the group.
Correct.
So to have that dichotomy of him having to be so serious.
Exactly. To have to kind of get out of that role. This is another one where you look at it and you can't believe that it's not mixed media and that there aren't actual cloth in there. When you look at on the cowl, there on the leg, the leather work on it is spectacular.
And even all of the fabric bending that's on this, this is completely sculpted.
It's all sculpted.
Completely sculpted. You can see the bending on the pouches here on the belt. It's incredible. And I think even sort of going to the base, look at the translucence, guy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I actually haven't gotten to, me and you've been in and out of the, here working.
In and out, but there's just so much.
I haven't really gotten to stare at this.
Yeah, and the next thing that pops to me, because this is really the first time I've come this close to this particular piece, is the incredible paintwork that's in this apparition.
Yeah.
These blues,
very
these
jarring
green,
colors too. It's so different. You can very clearly tell it's a spirit.
That spirit world is really brought to it, and instead of just being a solid color, it really has all of that paintwork that's done to give it that. And again, still sticking with the textures that we've talked about. When you see that cloth wraparound on the wrist or the belt.
And now, we haven't even touched on how incredible PCS is in creating the weaponry, and this is obviously no exception here. One of the things I guess we'll see if I'm fired right after this stream. But if these are proximity pieces, they do move.
Yes.
So that's really great that you can sort of set these up in a way that is reminiscent of the comic, The Last Ronin itself, which I do believe this is very. I think this is from a splash page in the comic itself.
I don't think it's panel specific.
Right. I think it's meant to evoke the entire first issue, which is an oversized 80-page issue. And it's got all of the Turtles' signature weapons.
When you were talking about you talked about the base and how you see that liquid there. Is look at the wetness there on the edge, and then as though the water has creeped into
through the grout,
the crevice and grout down toward the drain over here. Just again, you and I, this is the first time we've looked at it this close, and to keep seeing new stuff. It is a piece that you can get lost in. It's obviously a large piece and something that's going to be a prominent feature in your collection, but what an incredible prominent thing to have.
Yeah, conversation starters and understatement.
Yeah, exactly. And the conversation will only be about this for the rest of the day.
For basically the whole night. So that is the incredible Last Ronin statue by the good folks over at PCS. Missy,
what do we got?
Take us away. Where are we going?
You need to head over to Star Wars because there are two PFs that are pretty much neck and neck for requests, and that is Ahsoka and General Grievous.
Ahsoka and General Grievous.
Specifically for General Grievous, his chest piece and the lightsabers.
Okay, we can do that. All right. So, Guy, we have now jumped into your neck of the woods here.
Yes.
In terms of Star Wars here. So, what was your? I mean, you've gotten to see Grievous a couple of times, and I think everyone here has gotten to see Grievous a couple of times. I mean, let's talk through here. I mean, the base, of course, is incredible.
It does have that hulking base. Something that we've seen in a lot of the ones that Sideshow has been doing is what I call like post lightsaber effect, where you have that molten look of the metal, and that is done in here too. And I like that that's kind of a continuing theme through them, that they do go well together. Again, so much movement. What made Grievous so unique and so different when we were first introduced to him is us trying to figure out exactly what is he. Is he robot? Is he person? What exactly is he? And when you look at that into the face and the eyes, and then the chest, and you'll see the organs in there, and then the throat
horrifying
as well. Is what is going on? What has been this character's story? I know that Missy said that the question was about the lightsabers. And these do have that translucency, and they do have the film specific where they had that rounded look. At that point, they had kind of that rounded edge. What I like about it is that look of bone. It is armor, but it has
looks like bone.
It has a bone-like look, and the paint really shows up in something of this size.
Yeah, and yesterday we were fortunate enough to have Matt Black on, who worked on this piece and many Star Wars pieces, and he had talked about how this, he'd had so much of the the prequel, so much of the prequel music playing while he was doing this to sort of invoke an energy around this piece, because Grievous is so kinetic. There's just he's never standing still. There's always something moving on him. And it seemed like Matt Black had mentioned that he really had channeled that. And again, if you guys want to see Matt Black, who actually was one of the lead artists on this piece, you can go to side.show/YouTube if you're watching on YouTube. I think that was live from Sideshow Con. It was like 15 minutes in.
Yes,
it's only like 15 minutes in.
It's a beautiful one, and him talking about this is spectacular. His love of Star Wars. In fact, I did not know he was a Sideshow sculptor. When I first met him, he was another Star Wars fan, and we would talk like crazy. And then I find out, my goodness, the stuff I purchase is his stuff.
Yeah, the emails between him and you are the same, where it's like, Matt, you can't come in full Darth Vader costume. You've got work to do. Please.
You can't do that.
Yeah, happy problems.
I love what is it was interesting as you talked about the movement is whenever we see Grievous, even when he's standing on the bridge of a ship or anything like that, that he's pacing, he's always in movement. And so this really has a lot of movement to it. It's something that's a static statue to still evoke so much movement is great. And that continues with the cape and allowing you as the owner to give it even a little bit more.
Yeah. Now, speaking of movement, there is a movement behind this next character in becoming easily one of the most popular characters in all of Star Wars canon. We have got the incredible Ahsoka Tano PF here, of course, by Sideshow. Now, this is specifically from Rebels,
correct?
I believe. And I do love that yesterday, Amy and Alex had pointed out on the live booth tour the Vader silhouette that's here.
That was one when we first looked at it during our Star Wars week. I was just so impressed by the piece. I hadn't seen that until they pointed that out and went, wow, that's incredible. Another thing when we talk about the base is when you look at this white, almost illuminated area, this is pretty specific to the episodes in the temple when it does do the light. Because of the way in which they've gone and done this, and the paint department has worked on that, it looks as though it's actually illuminated. This doesn't have a plug-in LED or batteries or anything that you need to do. That's just from how great the paint work is. And yeah, now that I'm spinning it toward myself, I get to now take and see that Vader, and of course now you can't unsee it, and it's so absolutely incredible. Again, when you have statues that bring in movement, and as though you're catching them mid-movement, and there's so much going on here. You've got the forward lunge, both arms. She had a very unique style that nobody ever had a style like that.
And a look too, even from the face, such a unique color scheme that is like you could even have any of these colors relatively close to each other, and you're like, that kind of looks like Ahsoka Tano. It could have nothing to do with Star Wars.
But you see that color scheme, and your mind directly goes to that. I love how that's done. I love how these sabers are. Her whole lightsaber technique and how they were evolved over time, and these go to more of that direct downward tight point. Then when you get into the leather work that's done on here, and again, this isn't actual leather, this is sculpted, but it does have that great look and the incredible paint texture done on there. The metallics that are in
on the boots and the gauntlets, so good.
You could tell she's very, very skilled in what she can do when the only armor you have is a couple of wrist guards and shin guards, but yet you're still ready to go out into battle.
Yeah, I'd hate to see the other guy. And I love also the saber, like that hold the hilts there on the side. All of the carving and detail in this. I mean, it's incredible, honestly. I mean, I'm glad people are getting to see it again. We can't stop looking at it.
I know when we first showed this off, the first phone call I got was from Terry Smith, who was like, "Okay, there's my favorite thing ever." After we had our unsealed this morning, that was something he said, because when we walked past me, he goes, "Yeah, I still love that. That's still my favorite thing ever."
It's brilliant.
It is a beautiful, absolutely beautiful piece.
Well,
Missy, tell us where we should see.
Where are we going next?
Where are we going?
You're going to stay in the Star Wars universe for right now. If you could go back to Salacious Crumb, and then head over to the quarter scale Mando and Grogu.
We can do that.
We can do that. One of my absolute favorites.
I know.
One of my absolute favorites.
One of the few things I knew about you before we really started working together is that you just love Salacious Crumb.
Well, as you can see, he and I do have very similar hairstyles.
You guys have the exact.
This is about, if I were to grow mine out, this is about.
Just grow like
that's
that?
really about all that there is.
I would very much like to see it.
See, coloring is the same.
So we have got the Salacious Crumb 1-for-1 prop replica by the good folks over at Regal Robot. And again,
they are doing amazing things.
Yeah, and again, Tom Spina came on and talked about this and talked about the labor of love that goes into this in the original film that he had appeared in too. Like, I mean, being able to recreate that from
this
Lucas.
Is how this is. I remember working with it. This is how we did it to go into that. I love my 6-scale stuff, but 1/1 scale prop replicas and 1/1 scale things are spectacular.
Yeah, and he's so good.
This is absolutely wonderful, and it does have that right off the screen look.
Yeah.
You had mentioned, I know when you looked at the Rancor, and you talked about kind of that the moisture of the mouth and things like that.
Wait. Is it Rancor? I've been saying Rancor my whole life.
You know
the beauty of being
I'm
live
sure we're not,
is someone will correct us in just a
someone's going to
second.
tell us that each of us are incorrect or correct. But what I like about it is again, you're still getting that kind of gloss around there. And look at the eyes.
Yeah.
There's a life quality.
Yeah, and I believe Tom had mentioned that there's only going to be 150 of these. So
it's very small around.
The beauty of it is, the base is not technically a proximity base because he does fit obviously very well onto it, but you can display Salacious Crumb with or without the base, which is great. Like, he can just kind of sit there on and overwatch your entire collection.
If you have a full size 1/1 scale Jabba throne and you have a perfect pillow, there you go. I'm working on that right now.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
Slowly carving that as we go. But I love it. I was so excited to see him in the background when they were doing the booth tour. I went, wait a second, is that? And it's great to see something like that. It's really neat when you can have a full scale piece.
It's nice to see them, and I like one of my favorite facts before we move on to Mando here is the inclusion of Tony McVeigh, the original sculptor. And you get a dual plaque with this that has Tony's name on it and Tim Rose, I believe, who was the original puppeteer for him. And so just having that inclusion is you can just tell the labor of love that they had with this.
And that
so
they
brilliant.
both came back to say, this is how it worked.
Yeah.
So yep, I remember how it worked. Now the quarter scale.
The quarter scale, and again, the 1-for-1 prop replica by Regal Robot, side.show/con, and you can see it there. We've got to move on here. We're talking Hot Toys. This is the quarter scale Mando.
Yes.
Again, by Hot Toys with, look at this little guy.
I love it. What they've been doing with their quarter scale and really upping how the bases are done and being able to be used. Obviously, this is a character that doesn't have to be on the base that you can pose them, but to be giving them so much. The Beskar.
Oh, with is it a Mythosaur, right? The Mythosaur.
You have that bent. The evolution, the black point there. I think that's fantastic to have this off onto the side there. And wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good. And I remember, you know, one of the first times that me, you, and Terry Smith had covered stuff on Unsealed and Revealed, saying that quarter scale Hot Toys are essentially, you know, your posable statues.
Exactly.
And I love that idea for it because it is that sort of medium between people who are like, we just collect statues, and I just collect 6 scales. The quarter scales that Hot Toys put out are, you know,
that's the beauty
right
of it.
in the middle there.
Terry and I have talked a lot about this independently and then also on the shows, is that this allows you to be the last, say, artist in the process. You may absolutely love a character and absolutely love a statue and go, boy, I really wish they'd do a statue where he looked like this. Well, when you do something like this allows you to do that.
Yeah.
And they're absolutely spectacular. There's just so much going on.
Yeah, and I love that you know, with something like this, obviously at the forefront, you get Mando, but then of course you also get the child Grogu. You get the IG unit here. You get another Mando helmet. You get the Mythosaur pendant almost, or the plaque.
Your
There's
original
so
cramp,
much in this.
all of it going on with that. The quarter scales. Like I said, I love my 6 scale. I love my 1/1, and now in the past few years with the Hot Toys quarter scale, I've really jumped into those. And this by far is a quick pre-order.
Yeah, easy pre-order.
Yeah,
I'd say. Yeah, as soon
it's
as it
an
went up, easy pre-order.
It's an easy. My finger is getting kind of numb there after a while. I've been hitting the pre-order so much.
Well, yeah, my wallet's just checked out at this point.
Yes,
so just tell me where to go.
Well, I thought I was losing weight, and it was no. Your wallet's now
You're just
empty.
losing. Yeah. It's just, so Missy, tell us. We just took a look at the quarter scale. What do people want to see?
It's Star Wars Palooza in here right now.
Good.
If you can stay right where you are and just go to our lovely Boba on his throne, and then the battle droid. Those are the next 2 biggest requests.
Okay. So, Guy, I mean, obviously a huge reveal. You know, as spoilers for, I think this show's been out for like a year now, but I mean, obviously a huge reveal, and who better to like bring this, you know, to Sideshow Con and to our collections than to Hot Toys. I mean, it looks great.
I love what they did. I mean, this was that tag at the end, and we went, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And this is what it was, and there's so much that they keep adding onto the story of Mandalorian, where we're getting things that we know and love, and then new things, and they blend together. And this was something that was absolutely spectacular. We're seeing that same style that Jabba has in his throne. I'm loving that. Again, using this as having that entire diorama. Now, of course, you don't have to display it with that, but again, you can. And of course, this character here.
Oh, the incredible Fennec Shand.
Yep, we are continuing with it.
Just hanging out, having a drink.
Just hanging out, having a blue beverage, which is very popular in the Star Wars world. But that, you know, when we first saw photos of this, and oh my goodness, they said, well, wait a second, there's somebody leaning on the armrest over there.
Oh yeah.
And I love that. I like that we're getting to see Boba in this repainted armor, and I think there's just so much that it's telling us about him. He didn't decide to remove the dents. He didn't decide, you know.
I mean, it's all part of his history.
It's all part of his learning process and how he's become who he's become.
Like every time he puts the armor on, I mean, if he ever takes it off, it's constant reminders of how he got to there, which is interesting to me because, as you know, in Star Wars, again, I've been very open about it that Star Wars is not something that I necessarily grew up with, but I always resonated and loved Boba Fett. And this is one of the few times where I'm just like, wow, this is a costume next level for Boba Fett. I mean, this is the first time we've seen him in something that looks so different.
Yeah, in something like this, we've always seen it where it has had what we'll call mileage on it. That repainted. But that's what is going to be so exciting to continue to learn about these characters and to get kind of a sneak peek into that world and the crossover of the 2 shows right there in that last few moments.
Yeah.
This was again,
you know, and we'll ask everyone else out there, but I'll ask you as well, guys. This is you know, at the end when we get that stinger for Book of Boba, this is a new costume for Fennec as well, right?
Correct.
Right, because it's not necessarily that bright orange, which to me, I'm like, she's an assassin.
Yes.
You wouldn't want to go bright orange, but I mean, she's just so unafraid of everyone.
Yeah. This isn't what we see when she's with Boba overneath the perch there. So we're getting some We're getting some neat, fun.
Yeah, it's just the next line in the the costume lore here. It's just progressing by. I mean, in the way that Lucas and the incredible folks there on that Mando show could.
Yeah, we're loving on that. And then we're going to take a look at this guy.
Oh yes. Now see, this is like what I grew up with is like this version of Star Wars. Like I love the super battle droids so much. I mean, like they're just so menacing.
Yeah, there's that menacing. You can. This is a figure, but I know right now in your head that arm has already made noise.
I can hear it. Yeah,
and you know exactly how that is. What I like is when we think of the super battle droids, these aren't a shiny guy.
Right.
They aren't.
Oh, they're definitely weathered.
Yeah, they are weathered,
right?
And they have that kind of steel, so they almost have a bodybuilder feel to it, and this is definitely done there in that paintwork. Now we do see on the edges where there is that bit of rub.
Oh,
that
right.
bit of distress where something, if you rub over and then you kind of see that shine.
Yeah,
underneath.
like this super battle droid is not fresh off that line.
Correct. And we can only see a hint of it, but there seems to be some pretty unique texture down at the feet, which lets me know I got some great tread watch to do on that.
Oh yeah,
so
that's up and coming.
I'm looking forward to that one, and to just see all of the different posability. He's definitely, stormtroopers are like this, and a battle droid in any facet will definitely be this. These are the army builders. This is when you hit quantity and you keep pushing the up arrow. That's definitely going to happen.
Yeah, these actually are meant to protect you from grabbing your wallet.
Yeah, from grabbing the wallet.
Yeah. Oh wow, yeah, these are incredible. I love them. I've always loved also with these that you can almost see exactly where they're being like put together.
Yep.
It's like because they don't have time for that. It's just real quick, real quick, and they get put together. Yeah. I love it. I love the super battle droids.
That's what's fun about those is you can see that construction. There's so many things going on this
whole podium here.
On this podium right here.
Let's check in with Missy to see if we're staying here or are we moving, Missy? Where are we going?
So you're going to go back to Star Wars in about a minute, but if you could head to Magneto, since you can just kind of turn around and see him, he would greatly be appreciated, but then it's going to be right back into the Star Wars universe for sure.
Oh yeah, I can do that. So we have here the 6-scale Magneto statue by PCS. I love this piece. This is incredible. I mean, for me, like one of my favorite things with Magneto at any moment is his helmet, because I mean, it is so imposing, and it's definitely got one of those helmets that is so noticeable. Like you could just put the helmet on a stand, and you immediately know
what it is.
Who it is.
Yeah, there are certain helmets. We know Vader's helmet. If you see the back end, if you see any part of this helmet, you know what it is. Another thing that's amazing about this one here, and we talked about it with the other PCS pieces, is that everything on here is sculpted.
Yep.
Everything that you're looking at, all of those incredible cloth-like textures are all done that way. And what I'm liking is the difference in those colors. When you talked about the helmet, where it has that high polish in that purple and red, and yet there's the duller tones of it when it comes to the cloth part of it. It has a mirror-like shine. What people aren't probably seeing right now is that you are even able to do your hair.
I will be. This is actually the only way I will do my hair.
It's got a mirror shine to it. I like the base.
Yeah, and honestly, I love any sort of statue or any pose in a statue that is just kinetic and evoking like, oh, this is mid-battle for sure.
Yes, this is not starting into it.
Nope.
This is not the end of it. This is mid, and those are the fun ones because it allows you as the person who owns it or who's looking at it to really create a story around it, and that's to me one of the best parts about art in this three-dimensional form is that creating the story around it allows you to be part of a storyteller.
Yeah, and we spend so much time on the beautiful piece that is Magneto. I mean, look at the base.
The base.
I mean, you can see sort of the magnetic power that he has being used right now, sort of maybe being lifted up. You can see it's also kind of swirling around.
There is, again, so much movement. We have that in the swirl of the cape. We have it in the extension of his arm, the flex fist ready to kind of move out. And with that base and the energy you talked about is the translucency of it. We've got a little bit of underlighting here, but depending on how you have the light in here, this really has that iridescent quality to it, which is gorgeous. I love that base.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a great piece. Again, the 6-scale statue by PCS. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, love the belt. But as Missy said, we've got to roll along here. Missy, you did say that we are going back to Star Wars. Now, are we going somewhere specifically?
You are. If you could head over to the Kylo Ren and Rey premium format.
Oh, yes. I think we're going to do something a little different today with that.
So now, for the very first time, everyone, we're going to take a look at Kylo. He may look a little different, but it's still Kylo. We, for you all here, have now the helmeted sculpt for the new Kylo Ren from the Rise of Skywalker PF. Of course, right next to Rey, but let's take a look here at the new helmeted sculpt for Kylo. I mean, it looks incredible. Incredible.
I love that. I love that. There's so much going on. Now seeing it with the helmeted, it's as though it almost tells a different story.
Yes. It's a very different person next to Rey when the helmet's on.
It's a very different story when it's going on. And that helmet, even before it was cracked and repaired,
it's terrifying.
Was a menacing thing. And this just gives it so much going on with it. I love when there's a mixed medium like this, that when you're getting the ability to create the movement. Again, you as that last person in the pose. But the thing that strikes me about both of these that really pops to me, that I don't have in many of my statues, is what I'll call the water effect.
Oh yeah, it's incredible.
At those. Boom.
Yeah, they are beautiful.
The splash, you can almost smell the salt water from.
Yep. I mean, and you can right now you can hear and you can feel the scene that that this is taken from. Like Matt Back was saying yesterday, he'll just watch those scenes over and over and over again to get it right, and clearly it pays off.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, they look beautiful. Oh
let's give this again, so much movement. I talked about the water effect having movement, but again, all of movement in that lunge. There's such an incredible.
Yeah, I mean, even the inclusion here. I mean, been looking at this for a couple of days. I'd never seen that blaster that she had until right now.
Yeah,
that is incredible. I mean, and that is not, that looks like, that's mixed media, folks. That is not sculpted into it. That is a piece of the cut and sew team, again, had to make that, and that's incredible. Seriously.
When you talk about little fun and unique details, and we've talked a lot about the bases, because those often can be where you start with a statue. When you're looking at them, is this here, that broken part, and the detail that's in there is amazing, and that's kind of repeated over on the Kylo one.
Yeah, I mean, and we're fortunate enough to be here and look at these, but I mean, so many people looking at so many statues. The one thing that never ceases to amaze me about the statues that we put out, or even the good folks at Iron Studios, PCS, is when they include like some of the folding and the wrinkling in these pieces. Like, it's just such a detail that, like, if I had to make statues, like, I would never think of that.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
The bends and folds of fabric, and to do that in a sculpted thing and have it look as though it's fabric is really something that's very, very different. That's not smooth skin tones. That's not hard lines of metal aperture or something. There's something very, very different when you sculpt cloth. And that's amazing to see. I love,
of course, the proximity piece, the holocron, I believe that it comes with, that we see in Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
I mean, it's beautiful.
That's absolutely important to both of them.
Yes. Well, I really, really hope you guys enjoyed these two pieces, and the, of course, newly unveiled helmeted sculpt for Kylo Ren. Missy, how you doing over there?
Doing pretty well.
We haven't asked you. What do you want to see?
What do I want to see?
Yeah.
Well, there's one thing on the floor that might be red and gold. It might be zero
because you are the world's biggest Iron Man fan.
I know this piece.
Oh wait, technically we have two. Which one?
Yes.
I mean, they're there together because I need both.
They're there.
All right.
Yeah, we haven't gotten a chance to really look at these very much here.
The first one from 3.0 that I got to play with was their Optimus Prime. In this DX
masters
line that
of diecast.
They are doing things in diecast that we have not really seen, particularly in posability and points of articulation, where they're upwards of 30, 40, 50, and 60 points of articulation. This one here is going to have all that articulation.
Right.
Now, I, of course, love my larger scale ones, but Terry and I, when we talked about this one, he said that it was shelf-friendly.
It sure
is. And
I
liked that phrase because it is a great idea. This one here, yes, we've got him in a bit of a crouch stand. If he's standing straight up, He's at about 11 3/4 inches, so he's at that great height.
Right.
And to be able to do all of those poses, he will open up and have the
43.
The 43
Yep.
and of course there's the 43 in that smaller scale as well.
Brilliant.
This is a Veronica right off the. Give me some help here because you
Go
have
to
that.
sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep,
Go to sleep. You have that really nice straight off the Tony Stark factory line paint job on this one here.
Oh yeah. Now again, by the good folks over at 3.0, and it's got. I mean, I think I don't have my brain doesn't have the number right here. Swap out hands, but it does have like 40 plus points of articulation on this one. 40 plus points of articulation on Tony. We've got here. I mean, they're incredible, and to be at 12 scale, being desk or shelf friendly is such a nice thing to have. Like I unlike Guy, I don't have endless room. It seems you've got a ton of them. But, you know, I like having things on my desk, and this is perfect for that.
This is when they announced that they were doing this, I was really excited because, as I said, I love their work in diecast. My first phone call was to the woman at our desk right now to say, "Oh my goodness, do you know about this?"
She's like, "Yeah, dude, I know."
It didn't matter there was a time difference.
Well, getting back to her.
Yes.
Hey, Missy, what does everyone want to see?
So again, we are back to Star Wars. However, if we could go to the Industrial Vader by Kotobukiya.
Oh, all right.
That's a little something different.
That's
and
that's an
definitely
interesting
the
piece.
Clone Wars Hot Toys.
It
You
is.
got it.
Let's talk about conventions and con and things like that and Sideshow Con. One of the neat things that you see at con is when people will do their own costumes or their own kind of mashups and this and that. And what I like about this one here is it evokes that.
Yep.
And it's something Vader is so iconic and it has been available in many, many different forms. So when we get to see something different like this, I really like it. We just came over from Kylo and where he has that raw energy saber.
Oh yeah.
And look at this Vader one again. That raw, unrefined energy on that. The gold lines with the black is absolutely spectacular.
Yeah, and again, it took design cues from Adegranov himself in order to sort of capture this pose and this version of Vader. But and it's like you said, I mean, Star Wars and Darth Vader, himself means so many things to so many people. So it's nice to see people put their lens over something that's so iconic and bring it to life like this.
That's the fun part is looking at it through a different lens.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and you still get all of the knobs and the levers that Vader has.
You still have everything that is Vader, even toward the front.
Yeah.
So you're going to have
that's beautiful.
The little tines there, which is gorgeous. I love the way the saber is done. I don't know if Sam was able to show. The way the handle is on it is so different.
Yeah, you said it best. That raw energy.
Yeah, it's a raw. Yeah, that unrefined style of energy. And in many throughout the films, Darth Vader either had the robes over his armor or under the armor, and to see now them almost as a shoulder cap over the cape is again a really neat idea. I think this is a lot of fun, and it's definitely that conversation piece that you're going to be looking at.
Yeah, the brilliant minds at Kotobukiya nailed it.
Yeah, they do some really fun work.
Now, Missy, you had said we want to take a look next at the Clone Wars 6 scales?
Absolutely.
Well, we can do that.
Oh, we can
do
that.
They are right behind you there, Mr. Klender.
Let's do that.
Let's mosey on over here. Guy, who do you want to talk about first? Because they're all, we could spend 14 hours talking about each one of them.
Yeah, I think it's important for me to talk about any character that has a beard.
Yes, it's true. You are contractually obligated.
Yeah, as a person who's new to the beard world, and it's kind of funny that I bring that up, but the design and the animation style of the Clone Wars is very different than what we've seen in a lot of other.
I mean, and it was very unique when it was introduced, but now it's almost the gold standard of what we expect in Star Wars animated.
But when it originally came out, it was so different. We hadn't seen stuff like that, and so not only were the stories that were new to us, it was a design and an aesthetic. It was new to us. And to be able to get that in this 6 scale form is really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Where you have, and you'll see in the design, and this is all new, to having that kind of more thin, tapered down to the wrist. Just the way the head is and everything else, that tight angle of the beard, which one day I will be able to get that.
We're
working on it.
Yeah.
I love that. I love all of the different cloth used on this. This is a real exciting thing, and I can't wait to see these two in hand and
yeah, I mean, when we had shown these 6 scales by Sideshow during our fan week for Star Wars, I mean, there was so much hype over it, and it has not died down because these pieces are incredible. And there's so many versions of Star Wars. There's so many things that people associate with Star Wars, and like I associate, watching. If everyone remembers Toonami. When Toonami was going on, and that's when Clone Wars was playing, and that's what I remember is they were like the little stinger videos. They were like 7 minutes after.
They were
so like
tiny.
when I see Star Wars, I see the animated Kenobi, the animated Jedi Knight, Annie here. I mean, and I think you guys had said on Unsealed and Revealed, the first thing you got to start with is the head sculpt because that draws the attention.
You have to
and
do that portrait.
Look at this head sculpt. He is so good.
Well, and the reason is Sideshow and the artist were granted access to everything.
To the actual animation
files. To be
files.
able to see all of this animation file. To be able to get it. So when you look at Anakin and you see kind of how his hair swoops in the back, or the coif in the front, it is all based on exactly, and so that's identical to what it is. So when you wanted that thing to step off the screen,
boom,
it's there. I think these are amazing. I can't wait to have them in hand. There's not a piece on here that isn't absolutely brand new.
Yeah.
You look at all of the hands, because the way in which the fingers and thumbs are all designed is also completely new in that kind of squared off style.
I mean, which has got to be really fun for you who's posed, I don't even want to count how many pieces. I mean, some of our, fans who are watching right now are up there and have posed so many pieces. And when you get this, it's brand new for you.
Yes.
I mean, you hopefully never been done, and hopefully you will love it as much as we love it being here right now. Now, much to, we don't want to ignore him because he's got 4 sabers, but Grievous looks really good too.
Boom.
Look at him.
Grievous is, again, we talked about it with the statue, and we're seeing it here in the 6 scale, that he's very different. This is something, and the way in which he moves, this is not your standard knee to an ankle. You have a whole different part of the leg, and these are most of the joints down around here and such are all done with what we're used to with a wrist peg.
Right.
So the neat part is being able to move them around.
Yeah, and and we do have a really great episode with Guy and Terry on of Unsealed and Revealed, where we take a really good look at this piece. So that is our Star Wars Clone Wars line, and we have General Grievous there, of course. And if you are just joining us, welcome to the Sideshow Con Day 2 All Request Tour. We are live all over the place: YouTube, Facebook group, Twitch, Periscope. If you're on YouTube, that's where we're taking all the requests, because Missy's working real hard, so please put all your requests there. With that being said, Missy, what do people want to take a look at?
All right, if you could head over to the big guy right in the front, Berserk.
Oh,
because then you're going to head all the way to the back
statue.
again.
Jeez, this is
Sodom's favorite piece.
Yes.
It's something amazing.
It is, with, I think this is, of course, by Prime 1. I think this would be the, one of the utmost compliments. It's beautifully grotesque.
Yes.
Like, it is so gory.
It's a great accent to any kid's room.
Yes, of course. If you would like to traumatize them. So this, of course, is the Guts Berserker statue by Prime 1. What's funny is I actually haven't seen that many Prime 1 pieces of this scale, like in person, and it is, man, let's say it brings a room together.
Yeah, it's awesome. We're talking about, I mean, we've got to be at the 30 inches.
Yeah, you're about 6 feet. I'm about 5'11". It's a big piece, and it goes from my hip to about the top of my head.
We're at at least the 28 inches or so.
Yeah.
When you talked about the grotesque, and it definitely is, but in a beautiful way, is to be able to see the difference of the wet and dry.
Yes.
Onto here, and how it cascades downward. You have kind of the dry along the blade,
right,
as it's been kind of whipped through the air and kind of attached itself to the blade, to the fresh of the kill, shall we say. In here, these guys here, just a little bit more creepy factor. You got to have a little.
Oh, and you've got the crow over here holding an eyeball.
Yes.
Yeah. Fun detail in case you missed it.
Yeah.
There's a fun crow there holding an eyeball. There's an orc who's not having maybe not an orc, but someone who's not having a great day.
A spear through the mouth. These are all really rough these are rough days.
You know, now I don't know if this is something we've done during some of our shows, but if Sam doesn't mind, if we could maybe take a look at around the base, because there's a lot going on around the base here.
Yeah, around the back. And all.
I mean, you've got different shields, different people who maybe have not, you know, or their head's been removed.
Yes,
you know,
but you're getting into
less
more
than peacefully.
into the human. You talked about the guy that was like the orc. Now we're into more of a human. In the front, we had the large crocs. Here again, we have more of our demon characters here. Again, this is probably not the first difficult thing to happen in this area. We've got our skulls here and the fresh cut there on this guy here. As we go around and discover more stuff on this, there is again more of that grotesque, but in an incredibly unique and beautiful
But just
way.
like expert craftsmanship. I mean, seriously, it's unlike any statue I've really ever seen before for a lot of reasons.
And then when you get away from the base and get into him as a character, and you take a look at that armor, this is not smooth armor.
No, it's got like those foldings.
It does
on
have
it.
it has the folds. It has a bit of that medieval quality. It almost has a hand-folded origami style. In some
it sure
of it
does.
for that. But it also has that striation and the lineage and the lines that you're going to get from a musculature.
Yeah, I mean,
So
and look, you
giving
know, if
just
we're
so much
moving
different.
up here, you can see the, you know, this is also sculpted on the base here. It's sort of got like a rope around it, and then look at the sort of the energy coming off that head sculpt.
Yeah, I mean, this is. Take a look at that. That you have the kind of this almost articulated.
Called Berserker for a reason.
But then right up on top of that, you have this celestial.
This celestial spirit, which I believe is there, and again, I do apologize. I am not as familiar with the anime as I wish I was, but I believe the celestial spirit that we're seeing here is there to sort of calm him down once he is mid berserker mode.
Yes,
you know, it is there to calm him down. You sort of get a lot of elements here. Like you can tell that this is now with with the ethereal spirit we've got here. This is post battle, and it's sort of like, hey, you know, let's chill a little bit.
This is the chamomile tea.
Correct.
Of it.
Exactly. Well
but
said.
It also has that hint of the translucency.
Yeah.
You look at the face and the portrait of that. There is that soft, almost cherub look to the face and that brightness of the eyes. Again, what you said. Yeah. Very soothing.
Yeah, an incredible piece. Again, the Guts Berserker statue by Prime One. Wonderful piece. Missy, we're just kind of coming down from that statue. How you doing up there?
I'm doing very well. If you just want to spin around and go to that beautifully lit up Darth Vader, you're going to make a lot of people very, very happy.
Oh, spin around this way.
Spin around this way.
The Darth Vader PF, we got it. All right, so we are moving along here to Sideshow's Darth Vader premium format statue, and look at him. He is incredible. I mean,
absolutely.
Right next to his grandson.
Exactly,
you know?
which is nice.
Someone's got to look after him.
It's nice to have those family photos. This is one where again, you and I have talked about the mixed media, and when you sculpt things that are fabric, the pants, which are very, very iconic looking, that stitched leather, in those, that this is sculpted. That's not a soft material.
Yeah, it sure is.
It's a soft material. Then you talk about the difference in the colors. Vader's outfit wasn't just a straight black.
Right.
So you have the high polished shin guards, and then you have the polished yet more matte color of the leather of the feet. But then this base, I love that we're getting this with that Mustafar, the illuminated look.
Yeah, like that, because it is like a sense of like, it's like the lava coming through everywhere, right? So they can, yeah, I mean, this is obviously evoking his castle, right? And, you know, just so many things from that head sculpt again, which is beautifully shiny. I can definitely, you know, see my hair in it again. It's incredible. And this would, you know, Guy, and again, being, you know, you're my Star Wars connect when I need to know something about Star Wars. This is a pretty classic Vader stance.
Yes, yes. Vader, that kind of semi-clinched hand is something we saw, and we've seen him do it in many, many ways. But every time you see it, you know exactly what's going on. You know, I was going to say the power and the force.
We're making sure he's not force choking anyone out there. He's good. You're good, right, Sam?
Exactly.
Okay, he's good. Everyone's good.
This is why Sam is silent. It's
he's
been a
force
choking
choked,
the entire time. The other thing is that we talked about that this is very, very iconic, that you see the wear and the weathering around here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's great is when you see this is the Darth Vader proper, the outfit of what he looks like iconically.
Yes.
It almost gives me, my eyes get drawn back to the Kotobukiya piece, and it's like, oh, look at the creativity and seeing like what parts want to be done in which way. I mean, but you bring it back to the Sideshow PF and how like incredible so many parts of the mixed media on this are. Because this cape is posable, and you can do sort of like that windswept look. You can do so many different things.
You can do a lot with it, being able to do that whole lift up. And again, when you have all of the different colors, and each one was done when they designed and had to film it back in '77. They did so much with it.
Oh,
and it's great to see it on here. I love this one.
Yeah, I love it, and again, I love that Sam and Alan and everyone, the whole team have been lighting these in different ways with the incredible bases that Pedestal Source has given us.
Depending on how what you do.
Oh, look at that!
There we go.
Look at there it is. There's that
when
red.
There's a hint of the Mustafar up onto the base, so it's just going to show you again what you can do. These are beautiful pillars. I love these. In fact, I'm considering purchasing a few of them for some of my larger premium formats that have just been on a regular shelf.
Exactly. And thank you to our good friends at Pedestal Source for this. Site.show/Pedestal Source. There's a promo code right now, Sideshow Con 2021. Take 10% off. And when you get your Vader, you can have these lights. You can have a real fun light show.
That's the fun part is, I mean, many people, what can bring a figure to life is how you pose it, but also how you light that. Whether it be for photography that people do or for display in home.
Exactly. So. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed Vader. Missy, what's going on? What do people want to see here?
They want to go to the upside down.
Oh, we can do that.
Do I need to say any more than that?
All right, guy, I'll hold you by the legs.
Yes. We're going to invert. I was so excited to get this.
Yes.
Obviously, it's a show that everybody was quickly drawn to.
Oh, instantly.
I remember the very first episode comes out, and you could binge it at the time, but the next morning I get a thing, hey, you should watch this show, it's pretty neat. And when the date popped up, that was my birthday, and I was that age as those kids. So I instantly fell in love with it. And so Stranger Things has always been a big, so when they teased that this was going to be a thing, I was very, very excited. And this is such a unique design.
Right. And so now, of course, we are talking about the Demogorgon 6 scale by 3.0. This is such an awesome piece. Now, I do love that it has, different head sculpts as well. It's got sort of that closed.
The closed.
Because if I remember correctly, it would go through and smell like.
Yes, it would smell and kind of wiggle. It had a hissing. There's a lot about the Demogorgon.
Yeah.
Which is why, I mean, when you see first them playing Dungeons and Dragons, and he throws down the little metal guy and says, "It's the Demogorgon," and oh no!
You're like, oh no, this is definitely not foreshadowing.
And you got that feeling when you actually saw this, and there's so much on it, and it's neat to see that this is really one of the first times we've been able to see it in, say, a very bright lit room.
Like, I mean, unless you had paused the show and looked at it that way.
To see the design.
To steal from what we were talking about with the Guts Berserker, beautifully grotesque. In the head sculpt here, look how terrifying that is.
Yeah.
Don't scare him, Sam. Yeah. Look how incredible that is. Look at all the teeth. I call it the dentist's nightmare.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. There's a lot of polish going on there in those teeth. But again, with that, it's such a different design that it is human, humanoid.
Yeah, it's humanoid.
But then bizarre creature. I mean, there's the evoke of almost plant.
Yeah.
When you look at down here, that striation that I've seen, some of the long blades of grass will sometimes have that kind of look there. There's just so much going on in the Demogorgon, and to be able to pose this character and do a lot with him, I'm really excited to see where they go.
All right, well, that is the Demogorgon 6 scale by 3.0 from Stranger Things, of course. Now, Missy, how are we doing on time? What do people want to see here?
I think it's about that time, guys. It went really fast.
It's about that time. I think we've got time for maybe one more. So I really want to take a look here, stay here with 3.0 and take a look first. We'll do a quick bout with all of them. We have got Ser Jorah Mormont here from Season 8 by 3.0. I mean, this is an incredible piece. Look at the Ian Glenn sculpt, man.
Yeah,
that looks so good.
All of their Game of Thrones ones, and when we get these characters like that are not, say, our main ones, it's fantastic. And I love what they've done with him. He does play such a major role, and to get him in there. When 3-0 partnered with Sideshow to do these next two.
The Court of the Dead 6 scales that we've got here. Let's start with Demthyle, who is the Reaper General for the Court of the Dead. I mean, for lack of a better word, he's a badass.
Yes.
He is great. I mean, look at, everything from the head sculpt to not only, 2, he's got 4 arms.
Yeah,
he's got 4 arms.
You don't even kind of notice that when you. The thing I've liked about Court of the Dead, and as I've learned through some of the people that are creating it, is I can keep going back and looking that there's another layer. There's
the team building that lore, Tom Gilliland and everyone there are constantly building it, and it's being built in front of all of us. So and helping us build that lore is the 6 scale that we've got right in front of us here. It's the Malavestro 6 scale, sort of the he's the jester and sort of the person who guides us through the Court of the Dead,
holding the book. That has
Book of the Damned, I believe.
Symbol,
Book of the Dead
that we've seen. I love the detail work on his boots.
On his boots, yes.
Take a look at the leather in the pants. But that portrait, you and I talked about that again, very creepy. And that's what that look up and through the eyebrow ridge is amazing. Absolutely creepy. Can't wait to see what I'll be able to do with this figure and how you'll be able to move him around. These are a really neat addition to the Court of the Dead in the 6th.
3-0 absolutely
3-0
nailed
has
it
been
on
doing
this piece.
Absolutely amazing work we've seen here today with all kinds of different lines.
Well, Guy, I think that's our time.
I think that's our time. I think you and I get to spend a little more time. You've got so many more shows.
I've got to drag you out of here, basically.
Yes, I got to get pulled away.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us for our first fan request tour of Sideshow Con. Good news is we've got another one on, I believe it's Thursday, when we have our, it'll be all new items. So whatever you see with Amy and whoever her guest is on Wednesday, take some notes, write it down, and me and Guy will be back on Thursday to be guided through here by all of you. And of course, we can't leave without saying, Missy, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for helping us. And you had the real task of narrowing it down to 1 or 2 items at a time. We could stay here all day.
We could do this again for hours.
Sure. And Guy, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
You had a busy day, Unsealed, and
there are so many shows still coming up.
We've got a lot to do.
The con is not done for the day.
No, it is not. We've got What's Cooking with Sideshow. Next in our kitchen, which is a whole new space you guys have never seen before. We're going to be taking a look at some really fun kitchen accessories. We're going to be doing all of that live. Now we have that Sideshow show at 5 exclusively in the Let Your Geek Sideshow Facebook group, side.show/geek group. Remember, you can still register for the con, side.show/con. If you're watching on YouTube, on Facebook, anywhere, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Every time you like this video live right now, Guy gets to spend another 5 minutes.
Yeah, I get another 5 minutes.
So please just hit the like button, and he'll never leave. But thank you all so much for joining us for our fan request tour. As always, don't forget to let your geek side show. Bye, everyone.
Bye, folks.
Thank you.